Breonna Taylor. Remember her?
What?
Well, it turns out that one of her ex-boyfriends has just got charged with drug trafficking and using minors to transport narcotics.
You gotta be fucking kidding me!
But this is not the same boyfriend who used her as a human shield.
Oh, yes, of course.
She got killed by the cops
You're kidding.
and kicked off all those lovely Black Lives Matter peaceful protests.
Kill the monster!
I'm Jazz Bergonzo, and this
I told you so. Just doesn't quite say it.
is what's next. What's up, everyone? Jazz Bergonzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Monday. Breonna Taylor. Remember her? Well, she was unfortunately one of the supposed victims, against police brutality when she was killed in early 2020, which kicked off a number of lovely, peaceful protests, but not the ones that we all know that came along later in the summer because of some guy named George Kirby or whatever. But anywho, one of her ex-boyfriends was just charged with drug trafficking and using minors to transport narcotics. Like the last boyfriend who was dealing drugs and trafficking as well. So I'm sensing a theme. And here we go. This comes out of the blaze. Ex-boyfriend of Breonna Taylor charged with drug trafficking using minors to transport narcotics. And there is Mr. Lovely there. The ex-boyfriend of Breonna Taylor, who was the target of a narcotics investigation that ultimately resulted in her death, has been charged with a slew of drug trafficking offenses. He has also reportedly used minors to transport and sell narcotics. Jamarcus Glover, 33, reported faces multiple charges, including conspiracy to traffic in a controlled substance, unlawful transaction with minors, and illegal controlled substance, and engaging in organized crime. Wow, he gets around. Louisville Courier-Journal. The arrest citations apparently indicates that Glover and two others have been accused of using minors to transport and sell heroin, fentanyl. Of course, you got to have fentanyl. Come on. Yeah, it's 2023, y'all. And other illegal substances. When investigators executed a search warrant for the home of Taylor in the Taylor Berry neighborhood, a quantity of narcotics and several firearms were recovered. What? Shocker. On March 13, 2020, the authorities showed up to Breonna Taylor's home as they believed Glover was storing cash and drugs at the residence. He was also one of several people arrested in narcotics investigation about 10 miles away from Taylor's home in Louisville's South End. 3 officers with Louisville Metro Police Department opened fire in Taylor's home after her boyfriend at the time, Kenneth Walker, fired a shot that struck one of the officers. Walker later claimed that he believed that the officers were intruders, and I didn't hear them come in. They didn't announce themselves. As a result, Taylor was fatally struck by gunfire from the officers. The report noted that search warrants in Taylor's apartment cited that the Glover had left the residence in January 20 with a suspected USPS package. I wonder what that could be. And made his way to a known drug house. Of course he did. The LMPD police detective behind the warrant, Joshua James, apparently wrote at the time that he had verified with U.S. Postal Service that Glover had received a package at Taylor's home, but that did not turn out to be true. Glover claimed that Taylor had no involvement with any illegal drug trafficking, and the details with the search warrant were misleading and inaccurate. After the investigation to Taylor's home concluded, it was established that there were no illegal substances at her address. While Black Lives Matter came to the defense of Taylor after the incident, Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, took aim at the Louisville Black Lives Matter chapter and Kentucky State Representative Attica Scott, a Democrat of course, in April 21, for apparently exploiting Taylor in order to raise money or advance policy initiatives. What? Using victims to raise money for political venues? What? That doesn't happen. Palmer wrote, I think it's crazy when people say they've been here since day one. Let me be clear. Christopher 2 times. The Montgomery family, Angie, Sherry, Tawan, and Craig, is the only one day, ones not to mention Breonna's friends and family, but never needed recognition immediately following until freedom. I've never personally dealt with Black Lives Matter, Louisville, and personally have found them to be fraudulent. Even she knew they were fake. Attica Scott, another fraud. And then there's the people at Injustice Square, aka Breeway, who has been here 100 times and held it down, but that doesn't go to save everyone here, but they know who they are and are never needed recognition. I could also walk into a room full of people who claim to be here for Breonna's family who never knew who I was. I've watched y'all raise money on behalf of Breonna's family who never done a damn thing for us and never needed to ask, so talk about it. Talk about fraud, excuse me. It's amazing how many people have lost focus. I'm saying this before I go. I'm so sick of some of y'all, and I was last anybody who would need it. I am done with this shit. Enough is enough. My thoughts. Well, for the mother to basically call out Black Lives Matter as fraudulent, as garbage, I'm throwing in garbage, because they are. They're blackmailers, thieves, thugs, pieces of shit. I can go on and on. But as we all know, Black Lives Matter disappeared into the sunset with their $90 million that they blackmailed corporate America. And of course, knuckleheads who decided to donate because, they wanted to be part of the cause. This situation doesn't surprise me. That this dude and the other boyfriend were involved in the same narcotic ring that ended up with Breonna Taylor getting killed by the police because of the ex-boyfriend used her as a human shield and yada, yada, yada. For the mother, of course, this has got to hurt. This is like ripping a Band-Aid off a wound. It's been 3 years since her death. But when you have those who will use people's deaths to acquire money, political power, status, these people are pieces of shit. They didn't give a fuck about her. They didn't give a fuck about the mom. They didn't give a fuck about anybody. I'm going to use her to raise money for me. And that's what that is. That's what Black Lives Matter is. That's what Black Lives Matter was from the very, very beginning. All about raising money at the expense of others. They didn't give a damn about the black community because they sure didn't show up in Chicago every weekend when black-owned blacks were knocking each other off. Where were they at? Chirp, chirp, chirp. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. And we'll see you next time. Peace.